Right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just.
There was a more efficient way of doing it. I'm not sure. It's not.
Hopefully get something.
No.
Yeah.
Well, if I had which one? At least I would have the salt show.
I do too. I forget. I did. I'm pretty used to it.
Just make sure everything. How you doing, sir? Good to see you there. On everything else. So just one thing. Oh, one thing. Speakers of the principal of the city. Okay. Speakers. He's not here today. Yeah. No problem.
No, I went without the copy. Here it is. I got
Right? That was my feelings.
Yeah.
Read this thing on.
Doing them well. Good to see you. Yeah.
That's all about it. would still be in the printer. Give me a minute.
It's 11:04. We're going to go ahead and get started. Call the roll, clerk, if you don't mind.
Senator Albritton.
Here.
Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth, Senator Reed, Senator Barfoot, Representative Ledbetter, Representative Pringle, Representative Reynolds,
Here.
Representative Hill, and Mr. Poole.
I mean, we have 4. Okay. First off, let me make a couple of statements. I'm new at this job. I've never been involved with this body previously, but my good friend to my left saw fit to have me chair this, so I will get even at another time. I have to tell you, there's several things that I got on my mind that I wanted to discuss today, and part of it is a concern about where we are with things dealing with these matters. This is a means of dealing with monies of the state. Whenever the state appropriates money or apportions money, it goes through a process. My committee general fund is 16 members, and the ETF is another 16 members. The House has got their committees. All of this has to go through each of those committees and be going to the floor for a vote. This, in my mind, is the only body I know of that can apportion money or designate money and use of money without a full view in that regard, or without that going over. I know that we have, according to statute, a quorum is 4 members. However, and when we're talking about $1 million or $2 million or any other amount of money that's coming out of the state coffers, and doing that with a body that's of limited size, I'll say it that way, that disturbs me. Second thing, today we'll call this meeting, in fact, this meeting is a meeting scheduled from a meeting that we had scheduled, I think, back in August. So, because of complications, today our attorney, Mr. Latham, is not here. He can't be present. Also, I've been informed that the Attorney General has an interest in this, and he is not here, nor a representative to represent him. Because of that, and also because of my newness, frankly, rather than deal with the matter that's come up today, we're going to have to reschedule this so that we can get A, more members here, and B, so we can have some folks that can talk to us and discuss what we need to do. What I'd like to do today is look at this as a matter of where we are in this body. How many of us are aware of the statute? I think I've gotten a statute, a copy to everyone to take a review and see where we are and what our responsibilities are. And as I understand it, this body doesn't have a lot of authority. The only thing that we can do when a particular petition comes before us and through that process, then we simply authorize it. We can't reject it. I don't even know that we can question it. I don't know if many of us are aware of that issue. That's disturbing to me also. But it is, if that's the statute, that's the statute. But I'd like to have some answers from our attorneys and also get some input from others as to what and if we should do things. Next thing that I think is important. We have, this body has already obligated the state in an amount, and I don't have an accumulation here, but it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, individuals that have been awarded under this body. And that total remaining, may be wrong along this line, but it's, we still have almost $1 million outstanding. I'll have to double check that and see as to what we still have outstanding and remaining on just the obligations that we have. I would suggest that I can delve into this a little more and get some more info as to how much the state's obligations truly are under this act, so we can have a clear idea of what we can do or should do. I think we need to review the statutes and find out what our authorities can and should be, and I think we need to get our attorney's opinions on that a little bit more clearly.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question?
Certainly.
And
Go ahead, Mr.
certainly,
Reynolds.
Chairman, I agree with your comments today, but I think, and Director Poole, please correct me or educate me openly, but as I have read that, the statute under Section 29.2.165, it's still contingent upon the legislature funding whatever decision this body makes. Is that not accurate? So really, the body would be involved at that time. I know this previous time, of course, my first general fund budget as chairman, but you know those did not come overfunded, so that then became a decision of the legislature, and I don't think that has changed, right? So I do think the body has a say.
You're correct. I would suggest that you're correct, that we have the opportunity of how much is a portion to this, but it doesn't change the obligation that's there.
Right, that's right.
And that's my concern. Is
I just think our decision is still contingent on being funded, correct?
That is my interpretation and review of the statute, is this body in effect certifies the application, for lack of a better terminology at this point, but it remains for submittal consideration through the appropriations process. Now, I'm not the attorney for this board. That's just my opinion based upon initial review of the statute.
Thank you. I appreciate the
Thank you, Mr.
conversation.
Chairman. Yes, sir.
And you're correct. There is that caveat. My concern is the obligations on the state, and this body taking on that obligation without clear understanding of what our obligations currently are in this regard, how we're going to approach that. And the other is the issue of how we're going to pay it, and making sure that we have as many people here to make that clear decision as possible. Those are my comments. I invite any other comments on.
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
It can be answered. Anybody in the room? I don't see any timelines in the statute that would prohibit us from continuing the proceeding today, if that's the method we go. I just want to make sure we are aware of any statutory deadlines for action.
That's
I
one of
don't
my
see the
questions I have. There is some timelines in the statute with, I think, a 90-day for a hearing and some things such as that. But I think that's timelines for hearings, and I think we've met those obligations. But as far as the when we decide to take on the obligation is another matter. So I think we're still within the statutory parameters there. Again, if we had our attorneys here, we'd be able to know that. So with that, is there any other questions or comments?
I think
Certainly.
Look, it's the first time I've really looked at this carefully myself. Obviously, these positions, are these members or positional, right? You are in it.
They are
because of-
they are positional assignments.
Right.
Yes.
Do we know, I realize we know some of them, but, some of these say, or they're designee, or they're designee, or they're designee. Do we know those individuals who are those designees?
They show up. I mean, like we have a designee here, certainly.
Okay. Okay.
But again, you're correct. We don't know who is serving physically that's going to be present or that authority.
And is the designee an individual that is named for a period of time, or is it meeting by meeting?
That's unclear.
I just think there's, if you're looking for consistency, which is what you seem to be looking for to me, I think that would help.
And the other issue too is again, we're dealing with state funds, and that's the responsibility of the legislature by constitution. And as the members, we don't have designees to vote on our bills and to appropriate money. That's not done by designee, and yet in this body we do that. So there's some concerns I have along that line. Any other discussions or questions?
I think the only comment I would have, Mr. Chairman, is that we reschedule as quickly as possible. I think this is an important matter. It deserves the attention of this committee. These are serious issues. I know everybody agrees with that. We do have an applicants that this needs to be resolved by virtue of the work and responsibilities and duties and obligations of this committee, if you will. And I would encourage us to post an updated committee time as quickly as possible.
I agree with that. And part of this, frankly, is my newness and such in coming in and not understanding myself. I didn't get started looking at this until late. That's my fault. But I will do a better job in getting things scheduled out and notifications made so we can have all the interested parties and folks here so we can hash out and decide what we're going to do. I apologize for any inconvenience that may have occurred, but we will get a rescheduled. It'll probably be within the first half of October to get this resolved by that point. With that, I'll move that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, stand adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen, for attendance.